Hello, my loyal companions. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of RogueCast, your dedicated Rogue Company podcast, hosted by me, Radthar, and co-hosted, as always, with Mr. OctaneProTV.
Welcome back, guys.
How you guys doing? Today's episode, we're going to talk about the big new update that hit Rogue Company last week, and how we were kind of, at least personally, was surprised about how good it really was, at least in my eyes. But we'll get both of our opinions, and we also want to know your opinions down in the comments below, so don't forget to do that. Also, RogueCast is going to move to an audio platform. We're going to throw to Octane just to talk to you a little bit more about that.
Yeah, guys. So we are kind of thinking about putting the podcast on more than one platform. So it's staying on YouTube. It's staying on Radthar's channel 100%. I don't want to add any confusion there. But what we're thinking about doing is making it a true podcast as well. So allowing it to be audio driven. So if you're on the go, if you're at the gym, if you're at work, you can listen to the audio only version if it works for you. So we're kind of testing it out here. We'd like to know your opinion. So leave a comment down below on the YouTube channel. Let us know you love it, you hate it, you'd use it, you wouldn't use it, and then maybe even what podcast app you use. Is it Spotify? Is it Stitcher? Which one works best for you, so we can make sure that we get it on as many platforms as possible. So it's something we're testing. Leave a comment down below and give us your feedback. We'd love to hear more.
Yeah, exactly. So I used to love listening to stuff in the car when I was driving to work. I had a 45-minute commute. Podcast is about 30, 45 minutes. Perfect for that, right? Exactly. Especially when it's Rogue Company, and we all love Rogue Companies. Why we're here.
Right.
And as I said last week, we talked about it in last week's episode, talked about the update that was to come. The update has now landed. Season 1 of Rogue Company is here. And I think before we get into the nitty-gritty details of how it's gone, just like in a sentence, in a rating, give me a little feel, just a taster of how you felt it went in a little summary.
I would say it was as expected, honestly, based off of just like PTS. I didn't see any major curveballs, which was enjoyable. I think ranked was the only big item in question because we really didn't have anything about that. I think we'll get into it more, but I think it still is one of those big question marks that's looming over everything. I would say based off, if I was to rate it out of 10, let's put it out of 10, 10 being the best, based off of all their other patches, with the content, with how smooth it went, I'd say it's about a 7 out of 10. So that's where I would put it. What about you? What's your summary, and where do you gauge it at on a number scale?
See, compared to the other updates, the big one I have to compare it to really is the Fixer update, which brought Season 0 of Ranked, brought the new Rogue Fixer. Now we're kind of into the Kestrel update with the first season of Ranked. I would give it like an 8.5 at a push, not quite like 9-10. I was pleasantly surprised. It went way smoother bug-wise than I thought. I know console had a bit of issues. And I remember there was a lot of disconnect on the first day from console players. But as a PC player, at least, very, very smooth. Very little bugs or lag. I mean, EU servers are still EU servers. I know you don't play on EU servers, but the road banding there is still pretty meh. Thankfully, we're great over there. It's great. We're all cracked.
Hey, I'm just talking about ping.
Oh dear. But yeah, no, I was pleasantly surprised by the update. Really surprised with Kestrel. Played on PTS. Spoke about her last week. I think we'll start talking about her. But very, very surprised that she was as good, at least in her way I've seen her played, than she was on the PTS. What's been your experience with Kestrel then? Because Ted, she was a question mark for me when we saw her on PTS. She was like, I was like, oh well, this is just like meh. It's like a meh, like kind of like a Ronin, but kind of not.
Yeah. So PTS, I kind of got the this isn't going to be a game breaker rogue. It's not like you dropped in like a Lancer type rogue. It definitely changes the flow of the game. And so I was like, okay, whatever. She's cool. Nothing crazy. But then having the chance to truly play her in public servers when it went live, I didn't equate her to this utility based rogue until I really got into Strikeout, into Demolitions, and went, wow, she has so much utility, and that resupply mechanic, even in a Demolition, is pretty decent. In Strikeout, it's a no brainer. I mean, rush to resupply. But I was pleasantly surprised. Really, really enjoyed her. I'm having a ton of fun playing with her. I mean, I played so much ever that even enough content to drop that hype video that I dropped today on Kestrel. It was just like, it was awesome. But yeah, what were your thoughts on it? PTS versus live with Kestrel?
Yeah, as I said, PTS was really, she looked really weak, especially that ultimate. The ultimate looked like there's so much potential, and when I was using it, it was like, oh, this is just a med demon ult that hits one spot and kind of does a little bit of damage sometimes. But then we've moved it into the real game, again, into demo, into Strikeout, which we couldn't play on PTS. We only play Sabotage. And Sabotage isn't really a frag out mode as such. It's not like one where she really shines. Strikeout, I think she shines, though. Like, the resupply is so good for that mode because
it makes it fun.
It does.
It makes it so much more fun to play her.
It really does. I distinctly remember one moment where I was like, okay, this is kind of nutty in Strikeout, where I was like on Factory and I killed like 3 members of the enemy team. I had my bounce grenade still. And I knew it because obviously I know they're sort of spawned because I play it like ridiculous amounts. I have like 41 in-game days played. And so I just like threw a bounce grenade, and because I killed them all in like a stack, I just moved slightly left, picked up a resupply, threw the other bounce grenade, moved slightly left, picked up another bounce grenade. They just went again, and it was really, really fun. I think she's absolutely great for that mode. She's got replenish, she's got great guns, and the ultimate I think is funny sometimes. If you can hit some mad ultimates with that thing. And get some 4 pieces. But the bounce grenade, I think, is the best piece of utility. I absolutely think that is the best. The angles you can find. And that has actually led, because I'm sure you know, I'm playing in the CMG 10K. I'm doing the qualifiers for that.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Yeah, you'll have to tell us. Pause. Tell us about that. How's that going?
So, of course, I've been competing in the CMG 10K. I got part of my old squad together that I used to run with. I used to run with Gringo, Jolly, Omni, Mains, Omni Micro, and then me. We sort of like filtered in between the 5 of us. We cracked. And then I just took a step away from the comp scene. Gringo moved to SDK, and then he's now with another team. And Micro and Mains were still sort of competing, but couldn't really find a solid team. I didn't participate in the 8K. Decided to participate in 10K. Got them together. Got Brad in there as well. We were practicing for about a week before the first qualifier. We won round 1.
I wouldn't call it practicing, folks. I would call it hardcore grinding. This man was on Rogue Company day and night. Like, I'd log off at the end of the night when streaming. He's on. I'd get on in the morning. He's on. And like, he wasn't talking to anybody. He was just like bunkered down. So don't let him say practicing. It was like hardcore grinding.
It was the first time I've ever not been caught up with YouTube comments. I responded to every single comment, and I was like 2 days off, like between responding. I fixed it last night. Last night I went through literally all of them and was like,
"Good job.
I'm sorry.
Good little YouTuber. Good little YouTuber.
But yeah, no, you're right. It's been a hardcore grind for about a week. Just because we had to go from scratch. We really had to learn everything, learn the comps, learn the strats, VOD review it all. So it was like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day that we were grinding, trying to find scrims, trying to grind ranked to just get some practice together. And we won round 1 in the first qualifier, won round 2, should have won round 3. We won the first map, and literally on Windward, so just the second map, which if we won, we went through, and we got qualifying points. So we didn't even get qualifying points, unfortunately.
Bummer.
I know. It was 6-6 on Windward. We were defusing. Like, it was still 4-4, but everyone was up. We were on the defuse. 0.1 second. We went back and VOD reviewed it. 0.1 second. And
of course, your qualifying round was a 6-6.
I know.
Of course.
I know.
Of course it was.
And then we choked Canals afterwards because then they won map 3. But yeah, no, we're doing good. We got a whole another week together. We're doubling our playtime together essentially for this next qualifier because it's been another week, so that's 2 weeks.
That's
and
great.
We're looking good. We're looking strong. But we've been using Kestrel. And yeah, she is monstrous. Honestly, Micro on Kestrel is another level of pain for the enemy teams. The ultimates that he can find, the bounce grenades that he can find. After scrims, we get messages of people asking, how do you find those bounce grenade locations? Like, because
quick thought though, is CMG allowing you to use Kestrel? Because I know they've been awesome. Because I know in the past they've been like weeks later, they're like, oh, we're not allowing fixers. Wait, what?
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to hear that about Kestrel. I agree with you. I think Kestrel is in a phenomenal spot. Her, as I said, they say she's a duelist. They title her as a duelist, but I think people are gonna find her more and more as this like utility-based character.
Yeah.
Like she is. I don't even put her in the front lines. Like in your face like a chalk or someone like
Yeah.
that. I kind of put her in the mid range there
Mhm.
because she's so good. As you said, she spots a person in the distance. She uses the bounce grenade to hit them. She spots it down with a res. She uses her ability.
Mhm.
It's just I think her ability and the ability resupply and her bounce grenade are like they have re-added so much more fun back into the game for
Yeah.
me, and it's so hard to get her now. Everybody grabs her. It drives me nuts. But what are your thoughts on her resupply mechanic just based off of what you've seen in like demolition and strikeout? Do you feel it's too good? Do you feel like in strikeout, like it's almost like when I looked at this, when I looked at resupply, I
Mhm.
instantly went to will they have a different timer on resupply and strikeout and demolition?
Yeah.
Because it almost seems, I'm not gonna lie, it almost seems a little, I want to use the word overpowered in
Oh, he said
strikeout
it.
because it's like, man, you down three people? Well, look at all three of these boxes. You guys are
Yeah.
screwed.
Is that what I said? Just stand there, lobbing, move, lob.
Mm-hmm.
It's just go for it. I would say resupply is met in demolition. Realistically, there's better priority things to
Mm-hmm.
buy.
Mm-hmm.
It's I
Yes.
said Marco's the one who plays in our scrims. I play like off like on stream or just sort of like in my free time. I again don't really buy resupply for demolition as much. I think replenish is a better option. I think what else does she have? She has she's helping hands and she has stalker. I think she has helping hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wrong
Mm-hmm.
there. But in a comp scene, helping hands is so important. I mean, we've done Rogue Rivals. We've seen how
Yep.
much they revive. Helping hands is is a
Mm-hmm.
really good option. But upgrading
Huge.
that base bounce grenade, upgrading that stim shot. Someone put it in my YouTube comments really well. Yesterday I think it was. They said it might have been the day before. Said I was out of date. Kestrel rewards good players. If you perform well on
Mm-hmm.
Kestrel, you really perform because you get more money from the passive, which we'll talk about in a second. I think you get the resupply, you get more bounce nades, you get more stim shots. You have the ults there. She rewards great aggressive and frag out players, and especially in striker that is very very true. But if you don't, she's kind of like meh. You don't, you've wasted 10
Yeah.
grand to the resupply if you're not getting loads of
Yep.
downs. You're not really utilizing a passive, so she really doesn't have a passive. So I kind of like it. I don't really see it as a problem, honestly. I think rogues do frag out and strike out. I think that's kind of what rogues do.
Mm-hmm.
Lancers
Yep.
insane in
Yep.
strikeout. Like that just goes target to target to target, flank to flank to flank. She's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely insane. I think especially duelists are meant to be really strong in strikeout
Mm-hmm.
because it
Mm-hmm.
is dueling constantly. So I don't think she's a problem in demo. I don't think she's a problem. I mean, what are your general thoughts? You think she's a bit too strong?
I think she will be an interesting character that they try to balance. I
Yes.
mean, whenever they come out with a rogue, it's either they need more of a buff or they need a nerf,
Mhm.
whatever. I think she's a blast to play because of her utility. I think there's a lot of things that you can balance between her. You can balance not only her passive, which is that additional income, which is awesome and huge.
Mhm.
There is the fact of do you balance any of her, not necessarily her perks. I mean, maybe resupply there, but then also like her gadgets and such too.
Mhm.
I find myself with her that because I find the gadgets are so critical on here.
Mhm.
Let's talk about strikeout. Strikeout is a majority of our player base
Yeah.
with casuals. I find that I actually find myself putting more money into some of my gadgets and perks first
Okay.
before I even touch the weapon
Yeah.
tier versus some other rogues, because how good our bounce grenade is or the
Yeah.
adrenaline. It's like
Yeah.
you can stay alive forever. The one challenge I ran into in Strikeout was just the fact of like I'm like micromanaging inventory as I'm like running over resupply. I'm like, oh my god, like what gadget am I on right now? Is it adrenaline?
Yeah.
Is it bounce grenade? Like, whoops, didn't mean to do that. But no, I'm very happy with her. Where do you find yourself with her when it comes down to your buy priority, just in like
Yeah.
strikeout or demolition? It definitely feels different than a traditional rogue.
No. I mean, depending on the rogue, I rarely buy weapon upgrades. Honestly, I'm
Mm-hmm.
very
Mm-hmm.
util focused. It's my
Yeah.
playstyle. But also the playstyle I think is best for a lot of rogues. I think she just wants that 100% like what you said. You upgrade the bounce rate, especially the stim shot. For an example, right? I think they are bringing out utility focused rogues. By the way, if I think about it, from Dahlia
Yeah.
to Fixer
Mm-hmm.
to Sigrid to thing, and Sigrid is the real one. I do not buy a primary weapon on Sigrid. Never will. Do not think
Yeah.
she
Well,
needs
there.
it.
Yeah.
I think the Warren's a
Yep.
great pistol. I think you spend most time shooting over the shield anyway. So I buy the stim shots. I upgrade the Semtex. I get tracker rounds, I get Lifeline, and I'm a full util focused on Sigurd. I do obviously buy Prime Weapon on Kestrel. Riptide, not the Knight.
Riptide.
Boo
The Knight is good.
No.
Yeah, we'll stop right there. Okay, let's talk about this too. So all right, we're all over the place. We have no script. So Riptide versus the Knight. Pros and cons in your perspective.
Hey, the pro is that the Riptide is a beamer. The con is that the Knight is poo.
Wow, you heard it here, folks. Thank you for joining us this week.
In-depth analysis.
So in PTS, I enjoyed the Knight. I mean, I played both in PTS at that point. Once we're into the public lobbies, I do agree with you that like my go-to is Riptide. I want to play the Knight more, but where I find the challenges is there's no reason to. Like traditionally in most of our rogues, the SMG has a faster fire rate and is better at close range. But if you look at Kestrel, like, I'm sorry, the Riptide wins in range, wins in damage, and wins in the fire rate. So why do I want to play? Why do I want to use this other gun? It's like it's like you're using a cannon versus a squirt gun. It's like, come on, guys.
The Riptide is like an SMG that they put range onto. And the Knight is like an AR they remove range from. So it does not really work. And the problem I have with the Knight, and I'll give a bit more of an in-depth analysis than poo,
good for you.
Is that I get outgunned by other SMGs all the time. And like, you know, I'm not a bad player. I try not to be.
And he's a good player. Don't let him lie to you.
And I know how SMGs work. I know how to 3-peek. I know how to win a trade when I have advantage on a third-person peek. And if I'm getting beamed by SMGs constantly, whether it be the SLC, the 24S, the LMPX, or the D40C, that's not good. That's not an SMG I want to use. And yes, it hits hard, but it's really bad at mid-range. It's okay at close range, but again, I'm getting outgunned by other SMGs. It just doesn't hit. And you said the Riptide does hit. It hits up short range. Hip fire is okay. Medium range is great. Long range is godly. Like it's a great weapon. And the Knight is just falls so short for me. It's really disappointing because I like it. It's cool.
I know we're talking about Kestrel a ton here, which is awesome. But I think we'll end off on Kestrel on this one for your thoughts on her ability. Let's talk about her ability. So overall ability based off of your playtime. Love it, hate it, buff it, nerf it. Where you at?
If you're good with it, I mean really good with it, it is insane. It is absolutely insane. It is the end, especially in demo. It not only downs the person, it thirsts the person, and that is so important for demo. Well, the way we run her, and here's some strategies for you guys. We use her in really risky positions. We use her in positions where we're expecting her to get 4-man rushed and flooded, because all she has to do is press Q, or her ultimate button, and
it's called the oh shit button.
It literally is. It is. So like So we put our Kestrel in really really risky positions. Like take Winwood, right? B site where they've got the zip, they can come across straight off the rip. And they tend to 4-man flood the zip.
Oh yeah.
So she sits there. Oh, I see them across the zip. Boom, and that is a 4-man sword wipe, or at least whoever goes across that zip. Or like canals, we have a really far up on B site, like just like waiting to basically get ran at, and then she just presses R. I'm League of Legends.
So she's your sacrificial lamb, is what you're saying. You know, you kind of put her up there, and if she succeeds, awesome. If not, well, she's
it doesn't have to be sacrificial. It's just like she can play up for intel because she is at less risk than other people, kind of, because she can fight back against a squad. Whereas somebody like a Dahlia isn't going to beat a 4-man rush. She hasn't got the util to beat a 4-man rush. Even Demo is too slow because they'll only down people, and if you don't down them all, it's not good. At Kestrel, she thirsts them. That's the key with it. That's what makes it good, especially in demo. Like strike out if you thirst on whatever. If I go down and strike out, I give up, and my teammates know too as well, because everyone who I play with knows I don't revive them and strike out. It's a rule I have.
He says it here first, folks. At least he's honest.
Trust me, it's not first. It's like I'm gonna get printed on a t-shirt. Especially if I'm Lancer. If I'm standing on your body as Lancer, there's no way I'm reviving you. But yeah, no. Her ability to thirst the down that she gets with her ultimate is massive, absolutely massive, because that takes you to 3 or 4 advantage. And if we do not see more Kestrel in CMGs or Rogue Rivals or whatever tournament is put up or any competitive play, I would be massively surprised, because that is a wasted opportunity. She is so good. But yes.
Yeah.
Your thoughts
I
on
think
the
I find
ability?
I do enjoy her ability. I think I naturally think it's going to have a larger radius than it does. You
Yep.
know, I think that's what we naturally do. I think, I found myself getting tilted and then going back and looking at the replay and going, okay,
Yeah.
that is not 4 meters. That's like 8 meters.
Yeah.
Like, so I definitely agree in that regard. I do enjoy it a lot. I find myself using it in a lot of situations where like I down someone and then I know a teammate's trying to revive. So I
Mhm.
could just do that and focus somewhere else. Or that teammate I know is going to get a revive. So like if I need it to do an execution,
Yeah.
because in those
Mhm.
situations, those I'm finding out to be super helpful. I don't I don't usually use it like, hey, I see that rogue and I'm going to use my ability first and
Yeah.
then fire. That's
Yeah.
not the case. So or if I see a bunch of teammates coming down a hallway, like you kind of wing it and hope for the
Mhm.
best. I found myself running into the situation though where I'm trying to corner with it more and it keeps
Alright.
hitting the wall in the
I was
corner.
just about to ask, how many times have you ulted yourself? Yeah.
I have done that many times. I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, you
It,
idiot type of deal.
I think.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's been good.
I think there's a slight delay in when you press it to
Yes,
where it
because she
actually
lifts her
hits.
hand up and
Yeah,
then she does it. Yep,
yeah. So if you and move around the corner, if you do it too quick, I do
yep,
think it goes slightly off it.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's a great weapon. We'll move on to like the battle pass and ranked. But one thing, and this was the most annoying thing, this is the first time we really came across her in a scrim. This guy literally, and I mean literally, ran at us around the corner with Kestrel, knew we were there, and just pressed R on the floor on all of us, and just like wiped three of us instantly. And
That's awesome.
that is the moment where we were like, we're gonna use this rogue a little bit more
Yep.
because
Oh yeah, a
he
little
literally
reality
just
check.
ran at us. We were all alive, just there, ready. We're like, okay, we're ready. Wait, what's that with the footsteps? Oh, there's someone coming. It's fine. We'll fight them. Boom. It was like, oh, but no, so definitely she has a
I like
place.
it.
But let's go over to let's very brief before we get on to rank, because ranked is
Mhm.
it's like the
Okay.
creme de la creme. So we'll talk about
The
the
creme de la
battle
creme. I
pass.
like it.
Talk about the battle
Okay.
pass very quickly because no, the content of the battle pass has changed. Nothing of our
Mm.
opinions really, I think, would have changed too much since we spoke about it last week. It's still the exact same battle pass we knew was coming. The one thing I think we can talk about is how long it takes to actually get it, to finish it.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on the amount of time it takes to grind? I don't know what level
Mm.
you are. I don't know if you bought the first 15 tiers or whether you'll be given from a Rogue partner. I don't know exactly how that worked.
Sure.
But yeah, how do you think the battle pass is a good grind? I guess is the question.
Sure. Well, for $71, you could buy the whole thing and be done with it, and then you're done with it in
I
about
mean,
5 minutes.
there you go.
But no, I'm not to say I did that at all. I think the grind, I think the pace is good.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of boost in it because of the fact that this is going to be a shorter. It's weird. I thought this was going to be a shorter time period,
Mhm.
but when you go into the battle pass, it says 90, like it said 90 days from day
Okay.
one, which is weird to me because prior to this, we got the big HRX type of video
Mhm.
and Bart high res Bart in there said there's going to be 4 seasons. So 4 battle passes in my mind. Well, how do you get 4 battle passes in a 12-month period
Yeah.
with 4 quarters? So I'm trying to figure out like, okay, you can't get 4 battle passes if each one's 90 days, and we just released this in the
Yeah.
beginning of February. So I think that's why the booster in there. I think the rate of the battle pass is good.
Mhm.
I think everybody naturally there will be those people that burn through it and then they're
Yeah.
like, all right, Rogue Company's boring. I have nothing to do. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, this is catered towards the majority, which is your casuals, which don't play 8 hours a day,
Yeah.
Radthar. So they're gonna go through a little bit slower. So I do like it. I like the rate of play. I think people are happy to have something right now.
Yeah.
I think very much though, the next battle pass needs to be that home run that I think we're all asking for.
Yeah. I would definitely agree. I am on like tier 21, I think,
Okay.
2022, 23, which
Starting at one
starting
or
at zero.
starting at
Yes,
50?
starting at one.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. From both things. So I've got the full experience of what it's like to
Okay.
grind every level.
You got plenty of time.
Exactly. Got plenty of time. I'm about halfway, and I said I'm a grinder. I'm on the game. You said 8 hours. I'm like, I wish it was only 8.
Well, I'm glad we have two different perspectives because Radthar is like 10 plus, 12 plus,
Yeah.
and then me, it's like 3 hours a night after the kids go to bed. So that's perfect.
Exactly. So yeah, and I feel like the grind of it is actually pretty good. I like the pacing of it. I feel like I'm not necessarily focusing on how long it's taking. I'm not like, okay, I'm this close to this one. It's like, I mean, apart from the jetpack where I'm like, give it the jetpack right now. But it's not like, for putting, what, over since it's been out, maybe like, let's say 30, 40 hours into the game since then, like since it's been out.
Okay.
To only be about halfway, I think that's pretty good, Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And talking about the 3-month cycle, the 90-day cycle that you're talking about, what I'm probably imagining they're going to do is it won't be just like in line with the 4 quarters of the year. League of Legends do this as well. Their seasons start about mid-January, February, to offset slightly just because of the holiday, right? You don't want to drop an update January 1st when your stuff aren't necessarily there. So I think they're probably offsetting it a few weeks or a month or so. Which is just fair. I said just for that period. But yeah, no, I think as you said, next one probably might as well be 100 tiers. Just for any the longer grind. And maybe a few less boosts. Although boosts are fun. Although with some queue times, I've wasted probably about half the boost every time. Let's be real.
That's a huge one that no one thought about. Is the fact of I pop the boost now and then I queue. And then 5 minutes in, I get a pop, or let's say 3 minutes. Let's be average, 3 minutes. I've now lost 3 minutes. So think about it. By the time you get into game, you get your character picked, you hit the ground running. It's like 6 minutes. So it's like, okay, so 6 minutes are wasted. I don't think anybody thought about that until now. And everybody's like, this boost is great, but I only get to use it once or twice, and it's gone.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I agree. The boosts are okay. I don't really play. I play so much. It's like those sort of things don't really matter to me, right? Because I'm not trying to. I'm trying to grind for level 500, but I'm gonna be there anyway. Like it doesn't really speed me up that much. In the grand scheme of things. Or at least not what I'm focusing on. But this is good. Next BattlePass, more good cosmetic stuff, more things like the scorched skin. Which, by the way, the first time I saw that in game properly, freaked me out. Like I'm like, what is Iron Man doing in this game? Like, what's going on? It was definitely a strange one to watch. But no, generally BattlePass I think was okay. I think it was okay. They haven't touched more on the amount of rogue bucks you get in. And we haven't heard anything more about the additional stuff for rogue bucks. But hey, hopefully, as soon as we know anything about that, we'll be talking about it here on this podcast and deciding whether that makes up for it. So let's go on to probably the final topic and one that is maybe the most controversial in the community, or at least in my sphere, the most important in the community, ranked. I mean, let's start with how did your placements go? Have you finished all your placements?
Perfect. I haven't finished my placements yet. I only play ranked once a week. As I said, I only stream at night for a few hours each night, and I designate 1 day a week to ranked. Based off the other days are community days or casual days, stuff like that. So that being said, for me, I only got 6 games in that time period, and went 3-2. Probably should have went. Or I'm sorry, 4-2.
I was gonna say that didn't quite add up to 6.
Math is hard. Yep. Math is hard. Probably should have been 5-1, but that's okay. I would say in those games, I know for a fact I played poorly in 2 of those games. The other games, everything felt in sync. Some games where it feels good, some games it doesn't. I thought half of my games were like the first few games were blowouts, which I think makes sense. Like it's trying to figure out where you were. So there was a 7-0 in there. There was a, a 7-1 in there, whatever. So I would say the first few games were a blowout, and then it really started to get more competitive, which was great. Like you expect that. I didn't feel that my team got steamrolled more than like the opposite side of it, which was nice. So I felt that they were pretty competitive. I did go in with a full pre-made 4 of players that were knowledgeable enough in the game that I felt comfortable versus just randos or solo. What about you? What was your experience and kind of did you pre-queue or how did that work out?
So I full stacked it with my 10k boys. It was we got a great squad going there. We got strats, we got tactics, we got everything. But I think we had one tough game, which I've documented not most of my games, but a lot of my journey so far on my channel. It was my High Castle game where we were kind of punished a little bit at the start. I think we went 7-3, 7-4 in that game. Other than that, they were all 7-0, 7-1s, or apart from one, which we 6-0'd the first half and then decided we'd try 1v4.
Well, now did you do ranked at night one? Like day one, did you do ranked?
No.
Okay.
No, I
Like,
think I
so
think I
okay,
played my
because it came out
first placement
Wednesday.
game that day,
Okay,
and we 7-0'd it.
okay, okay,
And then we've waited then we binged the last 9 in like a night, which is like the
okay.
next day, like the 4th, maybe the 5th.
I just
Um,
wasn't sure if how strong not to say the skill isn't there, but if your success was due to the fact of, like, everybody and their brother was doing rank the first day, so
yeah.
you were running into a bigger pool. I did mine it came out on Wednesday, I did mine on a Friday.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, so the placement matches were a bit of a stomp for us. To the point again where we stopped was just turn 1v4 at the end, like, you know.
Yep, yep.
um, yeah. So I was like, I know this last one's gonna be a video. Got to make some content somehow. Although I threw a sweet
Yeah.
sword. I threw a sweet sword at one point. I'm
Oh,
like, that's
that's good.
content enough.
Yep,
But
yep,
yeah, no. So I thought the placement matches necessarily weren't challenging, but I guess placement matches aren't always challenging.
sure.
Um, and I like the placement matches. I really like that those placement matches. I got placed plat 4.
Yep,
So I got placed
okay.
about halfway up plat. So I've just got like plat to do, and then diamond, then
Mhm.
rogue. And I liked it. I really liked it. I liked that I got the acceleration boost. I do not see the point of me grinding through bronze and silver and gold. And I said, but where we got to, I think I said it in the video, we would have been in the old system. We would have
Yeah,
been bronze 3 at the time we placed plat 4.
yeah,
In the old
yeah,
system, which is such a difference. That's
yeah,
like 50 games difference of
yep.
like
Oh,
climbing
yeah.
that. So I like the placement matches. It was very easy as a 4-stack. I will, and I know I've had some people in my comment section asking, I will definitely be getting an alt account and doing a solo queue series, 100%.
Mm,
I will be doing
mhm.
it because, as I said, my content is educational, as we know. I want
Not
to
everybody has the opportunity to do pre-mades either, so I think
exactly.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so you get a
Yep,
balance of, hey, here is what team comms sound like, this is what good
yep,
teams sound like, and because I got a lot of people asking for comms and how to shot call and things like this. So that
yep.
gives you that. You get a really good experience of that, plus me yelling at my teammates, which is always great. In a friendly way. It's always respectful. And
Yep.
then I'll bring you guys a Sudoku series to show you and give you hope that it is possible. It is possible. But I'm very confused about how the placements actually work.
Welcome to everyone's world right now.
I know, like, because and we both know Shane. Insane Shane is your mod, is a friend of my channel as well. He won 8 out of 10 of his matches.
Mm,
So he played well, and he got placed the same as me and my squad, who got 10 out of 10. So I really thought it was gonna be a, hey, you win 1 game, you get placed here. You win 2 games, you get placed here. I
yeah, yeah.
really thought it was gonna be that sort of system, and it was not. So I'm confused about how it works. Is it based off like, hey, the matches you get into, there's like a level of that match, like, you know, these players should be plat players, so if you win that match you're going to be hurled up to plat. Is there an MMR? I don't know. I don't quite know how the placements are working, because I've had some people who have queued most of their games together, not all, but
Yep,
most of their games
yep.
together, getting plays differently.
Yeah, from what I have found based off of just some reading for the community that I've seen,
Mhm,
based off of discussions with people, a lot of people are interested. Like, okay, so it's not season 0 where it's pretty much your wins to loss, like
mhm.
your wins and losses, and that's it. It seems like that your win to loss is weighted less than what your individual performance is. So
Okay.
then and that is what everybody is seeing across the board, because it's like, but the challenge is like the weight difference is
Mhm.
significantly different. And so what we're seeing is people that queued together did all 10 of their matches together. So their win to loss ratio is identical. I've seen people spread as far as gold,
Mhm.
platinum, and diamond
Yeah.
on the same group that went all 10-0 or
Yeah.
whatever, 9-1, whatever. So they're seeing such a huge gap
Mhm.
based off of that. So now the big question is, okay, so what metrics are being accounted for and what is their weight? We're
Yeah.
not saying it's wrong, but the confusion there for the community is like, okay, so am I fragging out hard? Because you gotta think of it. Are you playing for the W? Or
Mhm.
are you playing for the W, but in the back of your mind, you're playing for the eliminations or the
Yeah.
downs? Or so I think that's where it's definitely a challenge of these groups that are starting to report their metrics. And it's like, wow, you're talking about 3 different rank difference,
Yeah.
gold, platinum, diamond, all for the same group is definitely a challenge.
Yeah, which also surprised me, because like there was a disparity in our group to how we performed. There were games that I didn't perform very well, there's games that I performed very
Yeah.
well, and like I said with my teammates across the board. Um, yeah, we all got placed the exact same, and we're all gaining and losing the same XP as we're going up and down these matches. So it is like part of me thinks it's performance, but I'm kind of thinking based on everything I've seen, it might be you win. And I this is probably not true because this is like stupidly complicated. But this is theorizing. If you win,
All right,
and that's
like
great. That you get, you got the dub. Here's some XP or here's some ranking or like whatever match made rank, MMR, whatever. But if you lose, then it takes into account performance because we didn't lose any. We had a performance disparity up and down between all our players throughout the games, but we never lost, so we all got placed the same. Whereas
oh, really? So you all got placed in the same exact rank?
Exactly the same, and we keep gaining the exact same XP and losing the exact same XP.
Interesting.
So it's strange. I wonder if it's like, if you lose, then it tries to balance to how you performed in that to diminish or not. Because that would
make sure that your team lost, but you fragged out hardcore and played well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that would matter because that would explain why, like Shane, for example. Hi Shane, by the way. I know he watches this. Why he did really well in his placements. He won 8 out of 10 of them, I believe. And then if he performed really well in those 2 losses, that would explain why he was still able to play so high. Either that, or there's no system. Who knows?
I think that's where there's a lot of questionability in there from the community right now. It's just kind of how that works. I mean, it's nice to be totally transparent, but we have to keep in mind a lot of other games they don't fully divulge kind of their special sauce, which is good. I would love to see I am still a big proponent of seeing your MMR and making it visible. I think that's good. I do like that, like they're displaying some of your rank above your character. That's
so
kind of
good,
cool. I'd like to see that in game when like I hit tab for PC players. And it puts it like very similar to CS:GO. They have your rank right next to your name, and you could see it on the other team too. So the system is working versus like keeping it completely hidden. But no, overall, I mean, I'm excited for ranked. I love that competitive side when I do have the opportunity to play it. So yeah, we'll see where we end up. It says as long as we're not Wood League, we're good to go.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think the last sort of thing I'll touch on ranked, and again, because you have Fisher Bases, you may notice the matchmaking since I got placed, and I got placed very high from what I've seen from the community. Like people who like also are really good players and stuff. Even Mr. Gandhi himself got placed in gold and stuff.
I saw that.
He got gold 3. And
don't laugh. Don't laugh.
No, it's fine. So Scott asked me to play some rank with him the other day, and I had to turn him down because I was doing some CMG practice. It was Friday night before the CMG, and I was like, "Look, Mr. Scott, like I would love to play ranked with you, but I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Scott, you're not good enough.
Have to be loyal on points." But then in the back of my mind, I was thinking, wait, if he hasn't played any ranked and he's got 3, I'm plat 2 at that time. I don't think I could actually play with him. Like, because of the system.
The sixth tier, yep.
So that was the back of my mind. Again, I touched on this slide. I think people do know this, but just to touch on this so people know, if you are if you are out of 6 divisions of your team, so if they're like gold 2 and you're like plat 1, that's within outside of 6 divisions, you can't play with them. You can't party up and play with them. So you got to take that into account, and especially with some of your friends. I know that a few of my friends, stuff who place really high, I'll make it alt accounts to play with some of the other friends who have not played so high and things, just so that everyone gets a fun experience. But the matchmaking since I have been placed where I've been placed has been against very good players. The players I know, the players who I know are grinders, the players who I know are good comp players, and there's rarely any games where I'm like, well, we're just playing against nobody. Apart from the other night, where, by the way, I believe the queue time, the 3 minutes 30 seconds, has changed to 4 minutes. I think it's changed to 4 minutes.
Now.
Yep. But
it doesn't seem like, though, once you hit that, it just gives you anybody. It's you know what I mean?
Yeah, it absolutely is. 100%. We were playing EU servers really dead into the night after some CMGs and stuff for practice. And we played the same team 3 times, and they were level like 36, 32, 31. And every time the queue went to 4 minutes, and it placed against them because they were probably the only people on at like 6 a.m. EU time. So there's definitely that aspect to it. Still, but with the player base again, we're not Call of Duty, we're not League of Legends. We don't have the player base probably to be able to find those matches.
At all.
So
not at all.
It makes sense. But yeah, no, they were fun games. We ended up dancing in the middle of Winwood with them. On the third, they were dancing as well. They started the dancing. We were like, okay. But yeah, no, I'm very happy with the matchmaking. Honestly, not so much of the placements because it's just trying to find out where you are, but in the actual games we've been going against Domes and Cannibals and Micro Nation and other good players and comp players who've been grinding the game since the start. So I'm very, very happy about that. Yeah.
I'm ready for leaderboards though.
Yes.
I don't like that we don't have any leaderboards either for our rank or for overall. And like, so that's something that I think is unfortunately overlooked is stat. I said this last time, is stats, profile stats, is rank stats, it's leaderboards. It's like these are the things people strive for.
Yeah.
And unfortunately it always disappoints me when they're not given the attention from the developer that they deserve. But either way, no, I am pleased with ranked. I'm excited for ranked. So we'll have to see kind of over the next few weeks, is there a patch that comes out and things are tweaked, or there's more visibility into ranked, when do we get another Scott Gandhi update video that kind of goes through ranked? We'll see when it comes. Could be this week, could be next, who knows?
Yeah, and I'm sure we will always be covering everything that comes out in Rogue Company, talking about all the issues, talking about all the great things that come in Rogue Company, and we will do that also next week in RogueCast. But that's going to be the end of this episode, Mr. OctaneProTV. Thank you very much for joining me as my co-host as always. Thank you to everyone who's watching. All of my links and all of Octane's links for his respective channels will be down in the description below. And yeah, guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.